part once, you know, if I decide to do whatever I'm going to do with it. So anyway, so welcome to, this is my morning cup of Joe, and this is my first live Facebook event. And I'm bringing my good friend from Houston, Texas, Brent Gorwin. Oops, don't go away from me. So I am a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker Realty in Long Beach. And Brent, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. You live in Houston, but introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Brent. Live here in Houston. I'm a software engineer, and I love coffee.
Which is perfect because this is the premise of our conversation today. It fits perfect, right? Because you love coffee, and I don't think I know anybody else who has this love of coffee like you. So how did this start?
Yeah, so of course, like, you know, in college, you always go to like Starbucks. I was there studying like nonstop, you know, when I was working. But then there's a few coffee shops where, you know, I like coffee, but I just wanted like better coffee essentially. So there's a few in Orange County that I don't believe they're there anymore, but that's when I first got a chance to like the third wave coffee. And that's when it just elevated my love for coffee more, just from like higher quality.
But was it that you were not enjoying the Starbucks coffee, or you just wanted to taste different things? And
yeah, I just wanted like better quality. I knew, like, I love Starbucks. I still go there for convenience. Yeah, I have no problems with it at all. But just like the actual like pour overs, like fresh one cup of coffee, just better quality beans, you know, better flavor. That's more something that I wanted to get more into.
And we should mention that you're a native Californian. You lived out here in Southern California in the Long Beach area, but you moved to Houston a few years ago because you got married, and that's where you're living now. So, and so how you were in college? I remember you were in college. So, can you pinpoint an age when you started kind of thinking about, hey, I want to try better coffees, kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it was like around 23 or maybe 22. When I was like still in college, I was working full time as well. But yeah, there was like from Vanguard University, right across the street, there was a Starbucks. So it just naturally was the place I went to there. But I think I was about 20 at that time.
Cool. And now the next step is that you have taken this coffee thing like really elevated now, because you have bought, every time I see your post on Facebook, you're always doing something with coffee, and every time it just keeps getting better. But you have different ways that you brew coffee with different machines, right?
Right. Yep.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah. So actually, I have them all lined up here.
Which is perfect.
So first, I have the Breville Barista Express. I got this about a year and a half ago. It was a Christmas gift from the in-laws, and that's where I got more into like espresso style drinks and like doing cortados and, you know, other, you know, mixed lattes. But then I have a whole list of things here. So this one I got is a siphon. So this is one where the water through heat will siphon the pressure up to the top, and that's where the grounds will be. And then it does the extraction and it comes back down. This is more like once in a while. This is a pretty cumbersome, you know, thing to do. Then this one is a Hario V60 pour over. So this one's very simple, just sets over your cup, put the grounds and filter, and then do that. And then the Chemex, this is probably the most, I would say, like well known in the house. More people have this, but it's another style of pour over. And then this one is one of my favorite for travel. It's called the AeroPress, and it's very robust. It's like thick plastic. You can literally throw this in your luggage and travel with it. But it's more of a pressure system where you plunge it down into your cup. And then lastly, the French press, which I think most people have as well. So, yeah.
So this brings up another topic, because you travel a lot. You and I have this love for travel, and you know, you've recently been to Europe and all that kind of stuff. So what do you do when you go to Europe in terms of coffee? I mean, obviously the coffee in Europe is very different from ours.
Yeah, I mean, I think with, you know, both when my husband and I travel, whatever city we're going to, we do look up at least like 5 third wave like hipster coffee shops to go like as a hit list to go and try them out. So we're never without good coffee whenever we do travel. We always make that a priority, for us.
That's great. And now you also do photography. And
Yes.
so and again, Brent has these amazing posts on Facebook. So, you be sure and follow him. But I love your posts. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm always like, wow, this is like amazing. But one of the other things that you also started to do is you started to design the coffee. I mean, what do you call that? Is that design? Is that the right word? Or
Latte art.
what was it?
Latte art.
Latte art. Okay. That's very cool. And how long did it take you to get that going? And who taught you that?
That was very, very trial by error. Like I always see videos and, from all the coffee shops that I go to, whenever you order a latte or like mocha or cortado, any of those drinks, they always do some type of latte art. So when I got this espresso machine, I wanted to do that myself. Because with photography and coffee, I wanted to always capture coffee culture. So whenever you go to these coffee shops, I always wanted to just show like baristas and what they do for their art, because a lot of them are really good at latte art. They care a lot about coffee quality and espresso shots. So instead of me taking photos of them, once I got this espresso machine, I'm like, I want to take photos of myself doing it. So yeah.
But did you talk to any one person and say, hey, can you teach me how to do that? Or how do you do that?
That was mainly through just like YouTube videos. There's a couple baristas that I'm friends with that kind of give me tips on like what to do when frothing the milk. Because you have to have that right consistency in order for it to sit on the top level of the coffee. So it was really hard to get that milk texture in order to like do the latte art. But yeah, it was just through asking friends and YouTube videos.
That's very cool. And so I'm sure you've developed an audience on your Facebook and Instagram, other people who love coffee. I mean, do you have other lover of coffees and that you chat with or that chat with you because of your love of coffee?
Yeah, there's a few friends that have that. They'll comment on it, like what beans or, I tried this other type of roast from this coffee shop, or a lot of the baristas from the coffee shops in Austin and Houston, just going there so much, I've gotten to know them. So it's always cool just to see, what they're doing, and they like seeing my videos as well.
Cool.
So it's like a really cool community to be part of.
So talking about coffee, not just the taste, but the types of coffee from different parts of the world. Do you have a favorite?
My favorite region of beans are Ethiopian, because it's very light and floral, and it almost tastes like berries. Like when you have it just black coffee, it's not bitter, it's not tart, it's literally just tastes sweet, almost like you don't need creamer and sugar. But yeah, Ethiopian definitely has like the number one for me when it comes to region.
Wow. And so I remember when you came to Long Beach last, we went to that new coffee house, but even before that, I think it was the Rose Cafe. Is that right?
Rose is, yeah, it's right down the street.
Yeah, right down the street from there. Yeah. So, but we didn't have an Ethiopian coffee, did we? Or
no, then we got.
Do you remember?
We got a cortado, and I think you got a latte as well. So espresso milk blend. Yeah.
Cool. So what's next in your love of coffee journey? What more would you want to learn about the art of coffee, the making of coffee, the type of coffees?
I think for sure like roasting would be really cool. Like I've done a little, like my husband got me a little coffee roaster. So you get like the beans that are not roasted, they're like green beans. And then you roast them to make them into, whatever dark, medium, or light you like. So I did that in the past a little bit, but it would be cool to get, a little bit bigger setup and roast my own beans and then just get into like different flavor profiles with it.
So when you say roast your own beans, what does that mean exactly? Because I don't understand completely.
Yeah. So like when you buy a bag of beans from any coffee shop, they're roasted, they're whatever dark, medium, or light. But before that, they're actually green. They're like the beans are green. And then that's when you would put them in the roaster, and then they'll tumble and be within heat, and that's what causes that roast.
So basically the roaster is like the cooking part of it, right?
Yeah.
Making them darker or that sort of thing.
Essentially, yeah. So,
And so, in terms of coffee and even growing the beans, is that something that you've ever thought of doing? And can you do it here or in Texas?
I'm not sure if it's all about climate. That's why like your Colombia beans or your Ethiopian or Guatemala, they have that elevation that gives those beans essentially where they grow the best and they have the best flavor. So I doubt here in Texas I'll be able to do that, but you can definitely buy the grounds or the beans unroasted, and then you can roast them yourself. You can do that here in Texas.
Huh. Wow. And so, in your future, have you guys ever thought about going to an actual country where, the beans is a big, export?
I would say definitely future plans is to open up our own coffee shop.
Ah,
That'd be something that's like a big passion of ours, like running a business and also just the love of coffee itself. So yeah, that's definitely in our future. So we're just trying to figure out how we make that work. But
I don't know if you know this or not, but back in the days before, when I was working for GSK, there was two things I wanted to do. One was I thought about opening up a coffee house, and I even had the name for it, Café con Leche.
oh, nice.
And back then, I was traveling to Europe a lot. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do it was because that was when the whole internet was becoming a big deal. And you'd have all these computer coffee places where you could just sit and, be on the computer and have coffee, that sort of thing.
Right.
So that's kind of how I got started. But obviously that whole idea of that type of coffee house has evolved into, people have cell phones now and they have laptops. So, you don't have coffee houses like that anymore. And then the other thing that I always wanted to do was to open up a bed and breakfast. And I actually also had a name for that. I was going to call it the Guadalupes, because all of the people in my life that were important to me were named Guadalupe. So, and obviously coffee would be a big part of all of that, because bed and breakfasts, Airbnbs, that's one of the things that they serve in the morning. So
Absolutely.
very, very cool. So what about your husband? I mean, what does he also love coffee like you do?
Yeah. He's more like he loves coffee. Every coffee shop we go to, he'll get a cup. But he's definitely the planner, where he likes to scope them out, and then we'll go. So that's his scheduling side that he likes a lot.
So since one final thing before we kind of let everybody go, because we're getting ready to the 15-minute point. So storing all these devices.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how do you do that? I mean, do you create a different storage kind of place, because they're quite bulky?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much I have like one cabinet. It's like essentially all just coffee. So
gotcha.
I got like my espresso cups, got like cups and whatever. But yeah, it all essentially fits in here. But it's all on display. This is like my coffee corner, so I love it.
That is very, very cool. So I want to thank you again for you are my first guest on this Morning Cup of Joe series. Thank you for agreeing to doing this. And I do want to get back to Houston sometime, and we'll have to have a cup of Joe.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All right, Brent. Thank you so much, and we'll talk again soon, okay?
All right, man. See ya.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.